More than 2,000 years ago, an extraordinary road was born. A road that stretched over 6,000 kilometers, linking China to Europe. It was not a single path, but a vast network of routes across deserts, mountains, and seas. And it would forever change the history of the world. This was the Silk Road. It all began in the Han Dynasty of China, around 130 BCE. The Chinese emperor wanted horses from Central Asia to strengthen his army. In return, he offered the finest silk his kingdom could produce. That single exchange of silk for horses opened the doors to one of the greatest trade networks in history. Silk quickly became the most desired fabric in the world. In Rome, senators and nobles wore silk robes, shimmering in the sunlight. Roman writers complained that silk was so thin, it revealed too much of the body. But the more they complained, the more people wanted it. Silk became more valuable than gold. But silk was only the beginning. From China came paper, porcelain, and gunpowder. From India came spices, cotton, and the teachings of Buddhism. From Arabia came glass, perfumes, and advanced mathematics. From Europe came wine, wool, and fine silver. The Silk Road was not just a highway for trade, it was a river of ideas, culture, and knowledge. At every stop, merchants and travelers gathered in great trading cities. In Samarkand, in present-day Uzbekistan, colorful markets overflowed with goods from every corner of the world. In Kashgar, caravans rested after crossing deserts, and merchants exchanged news in dozens of languages. In Baghdad, scholars translated Greek philosophy and Indian mathematics into Arabic, and these ideas later reached Europe. Each city along the Silk Road was like a jewel, shining with culture and diversity. But the journey was not easy. The Silk Road was filled with dangers. Travelers braved the scorching heat of the Taklamakan Desert, known as the Desert of Death. They climbed the icy passes of the Pamir Mountains, where one mistake could mean disaster. Sandstorms could bury entire caravans in moments. Bandits lurked in the shadows waiting to strike. For this reason, merchants traveled in large caravans with camels carrying heavy loads guarded by armed escorts. The journey could take months, even years, yet despite the dangers, people kept coming. Why? Because the profits were enormous, and the rewards went beyond money. To walk the Silk Road was to meet the world. It was also the road of religion. Buddhist monks carried their teachings from India to China, where temples and statues were built. Christian missionaries spread their faith as far as Central Asia. Muslim traders carried Islam across deserts and mountains, building mosques in faraway lands. The Silk Road became a bridge not just of goods but of belief. During the Tang Dynasty in China, the Silk Road reached its golden age. The empire was strong, the roads were secure, and trade flourished like never before. Chinese silk filled the markets of the Middle East. Arab traders brought precious spices and gems. In this period, travelers like Xuanzang, a Buddhist monk, journeyed thousands of kilometers to collect scriptures from India. His writings gave the world an extraordinary picture of life along the Silk Road. Later came the Mongols. When Genghis Khan built the largest land empire in history, he united much of the Silk Road under his rule. His descendants, like Kublai Khan, created what historians call the Pax Mongolica, the Mongol Peace. For nearly a century, caravans could travel from China to Europe with a safety never seen before. It was in this era that a Venetian merchant named Marco Polo set out on his journey. He traveled all the way to China to the court of Kublai Khan. When he returned to Europe, his stories of riches and wonders inspired generations of explorers. It is said that even Christopher Columbus was inspired by Marco Polo's tales when he set sail across the Atlantic. But no road lasts forever. In the 15th century, new sea routes were discovered. Portuguese and Spanish sailors found ways to reach Asia by ship. Sea trade was faster, cheaper, and safer than crossing deserts and mountains. Slowly, the caravans of the Silk Road disappeared. The once great cities of Samarkand and Kashgar lost their power, and the Silk Road, which had connected the world for centuries, faded into history. Yet, its legacy remains. The food on our tables, the languages we speak, the religions we follow, all carry traces of the Silk Road. Chili peppers from the Americas reached Asia. Tea from China reached Europe. Mathematics from India shaped the modern sciences. The Silk Road proved that when cultures meet, humanity grows stronger. Even today, the spirit of the Silk Road lives on. Modern highways, railways, and the internet are all part of the same story, the story of human connection. The Silk Road reminds us that the world has always been linked, long before airplanes and satellites. It was the first great global network, built on courage, curiosity, and the desire to share. This was the story of the Silk Road, a road of trade, a road of culture, a road that changed the world forever.